from that point on, which I was 16, from that point on, it took me 5 years to figure that out, to figure out I was drinking my own poison. What were you attacked for? What were you made fun of? Because I guarantee you in that is where your strength is.
And probably you're wanting them to have the exact opposite experience that you had. Like, how is that going?
Sun is coming up, are you ready to go? We can take a ride, we can take it slow. Yeah.
Welcome back to the Road to Self-Love. So I'm so excited to welcome my now best friend. Her name is LaShawna. And I don't know if you can relate to this statement, but there are some times where I'm scrolling Instagram, watching Instagram stories, and a friend will share a profile and I just get like enamored with this human. I had no idea who LaShawna is at all, like zero. And I messaged her and I was like, hey, the universe is telling me to have you on my show, so let's do it. And she said yes. Oddly enough, she wasn't creeped out by that. So LaShawna, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You're so sweet.
Well, I try. I'm curious, like, because this is basically everything that you went through, what seems to me like at a very young age, and the reckonings and the understandings that you had about who you were and how not showing up fully for yourself was therefore allowing you to not show up for others as well in the true capacity that you're meant to. Like, how did you understand all of that at such a young age? It took me till I was 30 to like even like look back and be like, oh, wow, that's what I was doing.
Well, I don't think that I knew that at 13 because it took a long time for me to kind of go into the fact that I needed to change something. And it was like, I mean, I remember when I made a pact with myself, I said, well, I'm not going to let anybody hurt me anymore, And I said that to myself. I remember where I was, that quote of Desmond Tutu is like, it's like, if you're trying to cut yourself off from somebody else, it's like drinking your own poison, basically. Anyway, from that point on, which I was 16, from that point on, it took me 5 years to figure that out, to figure out I was drinking my own poison. I was not doing myself a favor by any means. I was creating long-lasting resentment in myself. I was creating separation to where people couldn't help me, to where I couldn't even help myself. And so, I mean, I think because I went through it at such a young age, because I moved out when I was so young, I think that it kind of sped up that process. And I think that it kind of was like a pressure cooker for me to like really know that, hey, this is my gift. And I think it's funny too, because when you are attacked for something specific, like when you have something that you're struggling with so specifically, like me with people, I find it funny that is the thing that you're gifted with. It's like it's meant to like kind of be like, hey, we know like she's on a good path, or like you're on a good path. We need to steer you something. And like you want to self-sabotage, other things get in the way. Like she's powerful, we gotta make sure that she doesn't get that. And it's just like, when you step back and look at that, you're like, and you see the thread going through your life of the thing that you were attacked for, the thing that you held most, the thing that you were compassionate about most is your gift. And I just find it very interesting. And I would definitely encourage people to like look at those things within yourself. What were you attacked for? What were you made fun of? Because I guarantee you in that is where your strength is and where your gift is and where your power is. Guaranteed.
Louder for the people in the back, LaShawna. That, amen. I like to think of that as like turning our pain into our purpose. My personal belief
100%
is that our purpose is just to totally unapologetically, authentically be us. own your authenticity, own who you
Yes.
are. And that is your purpose. Like we run around trying to find like purpose in work and purpose in others and our relationships and all that stuff. And it's really our purpose is to own our gifts. And I love that way that you frame that like the things that we're challenged with, our struggles, turn into the gifts that we have to give the world. I truly believe that if I hadn't have been thrown into all of the pain that I went through with my sexuality and my coming out story and the being overweight as a kid and being denied and told that I was wrong for wanting to be a creative, like I wouldn't be able to connect with as many people as I do now. So I want to talk about motherhood because you're a mom. And I would just love to know like your journey as a mom, because as like, you know, an encourager and really just someone who's raising children to be like open with themselves and probably you're wanting them to have the exact opposite experience that you had. Like, how is that going?
You know, it's funny because I mean, I don't know that I would want them. I mean, I wouldn't want them to have the exact opposite experience as me, because I know that from my hard times, I wouldn't take away anything of that because I found who I was from that. You know, like those things that happened to me shaped me and for who I was. Yes, it hurt, but I mean, if I wouldn't have gone through that, I don't know that I would be as gritty, you know, I wouldn't have the grit that I do. I wouldn't have the sass and the ferocity for life. It kind of had to happen that way for me to be like, hey, no, this is what I want. I'm fighting for me, you know? So, I mean, but in the same token, I don't want to be the person that inflicts the pain on them. So I think I'm very careful to, when they're going through hard times, to hear them out and to give choices. We're big on choices. We don't say, you're doing this now, you know, you're doing it because we say so. We're not like that. We're like, would you like to do this or would you like to do that? Like a small example would be, do you want to go to your room now or do you want to go to your room in 5 minutes? So it kind of is, you know, they're getting their choices across, they're getting to choose. And it's not just, hey, you're doing what I'm saying because I'm the dictator and, you know, you're doing what I say. But at the same time, it's really hard with the pandemic. It's been rough. It's been crazy, but I mean, I'm still learning, through my experience. Like what you said, with 2020 was just ridiculously hard. I was running a lot, not physically running, but just like emotionally running from everything because I just didn't want to deal. It was just too much. And 2021, I'm just kind of like, hey, you know what? This is the opportunity. I need to stop running. I need to start really figuring this out because this is a really great opportunity for me to really hone in on the things that I want for my kids, really hone in on the attributes that I want to bring forth in them. And so I'm sitting with them more. I'm reading with them more. I'm listening to them. I totally took them out of school. They're not going to school. I'm homeschooling 3 boys and I have an 18-month-old, which is so fun. Pray for me. No, it really is. But it's just, it's chaotic, you know, and I'm finding that it's okay to be chaotic. It's okay to have my house be a total disaster with Nerf guns and soccer balls and dishes, you know, everywhere, because that's not necessarily what matters most. What matters most is that my boys are being heard. They're trying hard things. They're getting out. They're being creative. They're exploring outside. We live on 5 acres. And it's backed up to 55 acres. So they get to go in the forest and they get to explore. And so I just am trying to foster a really playful environment for them because I know that they can't be kids forever. But I'm also trying not to hide from them growing up in the small ways that they do, and not, trying to shield them from things that they need to learn, which is a really hard balance. And I don't know how I'm doing it. And I don't know that I'm really doing it, but I'm trying. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm just going day by day. I'm loving them. And I think that that's enough, so.
Thank you so much. Well, everyone, it's been so beautiful. Thank you for joining us for another episode of The Road to Self-Love. And remember, you are worth it. You deserve it. And you are not alone. Bye.